You're watching the Line Makers exclusively on SportingNews.com, presented by Jack Daniels.
Hey everybody, it's Why They Play the Game. The Line Makers on Sporting News with Rich Bachelari, Rick Heron. I am Brian Blessing. Jacksonville off to Houston to take on the Texans. Monster number. Houston was 16, it's down to 15. Total was 42.5. It's down to 40.5. And Ricky, fire away, kid. Money's coming in on the Jags. How anybody could ever put green, real money on Jacksonville's another story. Is that a reaction to Buffalo, St. Louis, and Kansas City, 3 double-digit dogs this past weekend, covering the spread?
Well, Brian, I think Richie has the numbers on double-digit dogs for the years, but I think it's, in my mind, it's a reaction to 2 things. It's one, coming off the Bears, even though it's a division rival, it has to be a huge letdown game for the Texans, especially with, and Richie will give you who they play the next 3 weeks after this one. But Jacksonville, believe it or not, they've lost 5 out of 8 games by 17 or more this year and lost 6 in a row. All 5 of those losses by 17 or more have been at home. On the road, they lost by 9 at Green Bay, by 3 at the Raiders, by 3 at the Vikings, and they beat the Colts on the road.
Yeah, and that's all that matters, Brian. I mean, yeah, 1-8. I don't give a shit how good or bad they are. I don't even care if they cover. And 4-5 is you're not that much of a loser at 4-5. And if you listen to what Ricky's saying, they cover spots, and they cover double-digit spots as they did against Green Bay. Now, when you look at the Texans, coming off that emotional win, they're saying the biggest win in Texans history last week is what they've been saying. They're pretty happy about it. Now they got at Detroit, at Tennessee, and at New England the next 3 weeks.
Ouch.
They don't care about Jacksonville in this spot at all. They're looking right beyond them. Now, I've read some stuff today that's basically saying that that's not going to be enough motivation for Jacksonville, but it is, because the Texans are going to lie down, and they're not high-powered. They're not going to look to score 40 on you. But what scares me is the Jags are not scoring points, and then that's the one thing the Texans do, is they're able to shut you down a bit. Number 2 defense in the league at 280.
More than anything, an inflated number, but more than anything, Richie, you're on board with the total coming down a couple of points?
Yes and no. You know, you look at a spot like this, and it's supposed to be a one-sided game. It's supposed to be one of those 21-3 games. It's 24-7 games. It's supposed to be just a straight one-sided game. But what might end up happening is Jacksonville puts up 10 or 14 on the board. Tennessee, all of a sudden, you got a 28-14 game, and then boom, you got the end of the 4th quarter where anything can happen. Still looking at the under, but not crazy about it as a
The
player.
game was 27-7 at Jacksonville. Again, Jacksonville's been a better road team. They're not the same team without Maurice Jones-Drew. I still like the dog. It's just a perfect spot. Coming off the Bears and those 3 games that coming up for the Texans.
And one more thing, the double-digit favorites this year, we were talking, they're 6-6. Now, normally you take the points. Like Brian said, three double-digit dogs win last week. They cover. The Texans, 3-0 as double-digit favorites this year, and it's mostly because they kept Buffalo to 9, Tennessee to 14, and Miami to 10. So it's an iffy spot, but you definitely have to look at the factor of the letdown, and this is a letdown spot for Houston.
You got to lay the big lumber. The Texans 15-point favorites when they host Jacksonville on Sunday.